Hi there. Welcome to our overview of the Ohio State ATI business programs. I'm Kim Hostetler, and I am the business program coordinator. I'm on the faculty here at ATI, and I'll be sharing some information with you today about our different business programs and our courses and so forth. Some of the courses that I typically teach are accounting and finance, and I've also taught our marketing course and our small business management course, and I also coordinate our internship program for the business internships and our business students. I'm also a graduate of Ohio State University, so any of you that are planning on continuing on to Columbus and have questions about the Columbus campus as well, you can feel free to reach out to me with those questions, along with any questions that you have about ATI and our programs. I'd like to also introduce you to some of our other advisors in the business program. Dr. Subbu Kumarapan is also on the faculty here at ATI, and he was one of our advisors for the business program as well. He went to Michigan State and Iowa State for his degrees, and you can see that some of the classes that he teaches are the small business management course, our microeconomics class, our personal selling course, along with some other courses as well. And so he would potentially be your advisor if you're in the business program. And one of our other advisors is Mr. Eric Williams. And Mr. Williams teaches more in the humanities area, but he advises our agribusiness students also. He also helps with our STEP program here at ATI. And he is a native of Worcester, so if anyone has questions about Worcester in general, Mr. Williams is always happy to help and answer any of those types of questions. So one of the three of us would be your advisor while you're at ATI, and we all work together. So if you're in one of our classes and we're not technically your advisor, but you have questions about the program, you can feel free to reach out to any of us, and we're happy to help. So that's a little bit about us. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about ATI and our programs. So why Ohio State ATI? So I'm sure you all have your reasons of why you're looking at Ohio State ATI, and I'd like to share some reasons why I think Ohio State ATI is a great place to be. So first off, you're part of the Buckeye family, and that's a large family across the nation, across the world, but it's also nice too at Ohio State ATI, we're also a close-knit family. So we're a smaller campus, and so we get to know one another. The students, faculty, staff, they all get to know one another. And a lot of students tell us that they really like that community feel, that family feel while they're at Ohio State ATI. And we have lots of wonderful resources, support on campus. The facilities that we have are excellent facilities as well. And you really get to kind of see all the different things we have to offer and get to, like I said, get to know one another, get to really network with one another and get to know more about business ideas from our local businesses as well. And in agriculture, especially, it's very important as to our local economy. So ag business, so I know several of you are interested in agricultural business. So in the state of Ohio, you can see that it's a really important part of our economy. So as far as the output goes, about 1 out of every $13 is because of food, agriculture, and related sciences. And so as far as jobs go, that means about 1 out of every 8 jobs is related to food, agriculture, and the environmental sciences. So you have a really good opportunity to find a job that fits you in an area that you're really interested in the area of agriculture. Again, agriculture is an important part of the world. We have to feed this growing population and so forth. And so being involved in agriculture is going to give you a stable and good career outlook. And as far as job placement goes, at Ohio State ATI, we are part of the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. So we do have a career placement office that helps students find positions. And so you have access to all of those same resources as well. And again, we have a wonderful placement rate. So this was a study here that I'm showing that was done by Georgetown University a few years back. And they were looking at students that had graduated with a bachelor's degree in agricultural business. And they looked at what is the employment rate. And they looked at a variety of different careers and degree types. And so the employment rate, I am happy to report, in agricultural business was 98.7%. So that is extremely high employment rate. So again, going into agriculture, going into agribusiness, you are going to have really good career prospects, career outlook. I mean, currently within agriculture, there are many more job openings than there are graduates from our programs across the nation in agriculture. So you will be sought after, and our ATI graduates have a good reputation of being hard workers, have a good solid understanding of the basics of business and so forth. And so we have employers that are actively looking for our ATI graduates to come and work for them. So again, wonderful opportunities within the area of agriculture and specifically within the area of agricultural business. So that's a little overview of ATI and kind of the career outlook. Now we'd like to get into more of the specifics of the majors. So I'll break down the different business majors that we have and go through some of the details of that. So at ATI, we have two different degree types. So we have our Associate of Science, which a lot of people refer to as our transition degree. And then we have our Associate of Applied Science. So the Associate of Science, or the transition degree, that is designed for students that want to start at ATI, get the associate's degree, and then transition to the Columbus campus to finish up their bachelor's degree. Now, it's not required that you continue on and transition to Columbus as long as you take all the courses within the major, pass them, have at least a 2.0 GPA, you will graduate with an associate's degree, associate of science degree. And we work really hard to make sure that the courses that you take and the skills and knowledge that you get while you're at ATI, you can go take that associate's degree and go into the workforce if you so desire. But again, it is designed to be a seamless transition to the Columbus campus to finish up the bachelor's degree if you would want to. In that degree type, the Associate of Science degree, the transition degree, we have two different majors that are related to business. We have the agribusiness major and the food business management major. Now, both of these majors are focusing on giving you those core skills in business, that foundation. And they really kind of go their separate ways, so to speak, when you get to Columbus. So at ATI, you would get that core, that business foundation. And then when you continued on to Columbus, you'd kind of branch out into whichever area you're more interested in. So if you're more interested in the business aspects of agricultural as a whole, those students tend to lean toward the agribusiness because it's going to look at, again, the business side of things, the management of a company within the agriculture industry. Whereas food business management is a little bit more specific. Those students that go into the food business management major are specifically interested in working for a company that's dealing with, processing food. So they want to, again, focus on the business side, the management of those types of companies, but they want to be working for a company dealing with the processing aspects of food. So when you get to Columbus, you would take courses in like food safety, food quality, and those kinds of things to understand those important aspects if you're going to be dealing with and processing food. So again, agribusiness, food business management, those are our two majors within our Associate of Science program or our transition degree. Then we also have our Associate of Applied Science program. This program is designed for students that want to come get the associate's degree and go out into the workforce. So typically these students coming in don't intend on continuing on for a bachelor's degree. So they want to get as much as they can while they're here at ATI, get that Associate of Applied Science, and then go out and apply that to their job and get a job in a career. So in the business area, the major is called Business Management. and you would choose then a specialization. You would choose to either specialize in agriculture business if you're interested in working for a agricultural business, or you would choose to specialize in general business if you're interested in just working for any type of business. So you just want a general business background. So again, you're going to get that foundation, get those key skills that you need to be successful in business. And one of the key differences between the specializations is what additional coursework you take as far as your electives go. So if you choose agricultural business, you would take additional coursework in an area outside of business. So you get to know more about whatever area of agriculture that you're interested in. So maybe you're interested in livestock. So you would take some livestock science, animal science courses, maybe the nutrition course, things like that. Or if you're more interested in the agronomy and the crops, then you would take some of our soil science or our crop classes, maybe our oil seeds course or whatever the case may be there. So that's your agricultural business specialization. Now, if you're interested in our general business specialization, there you just want to get those business foundations. And so your electives would be more in-depth courses in business. So we have a course in project management, so you can learn more about managing projects and those kinds of things. We also have a course in international business. We have a course in leadership and leadership development. And then we also have our agricultural cooperatives course. So if you are, wanting to get a little bit of an agriculture background, but not necessarily all the different areas there, you could take our cooperatives class as one of your electives as well in the general business management specialization. So again, we have 3 different majors within the business area. 2 of them are part of our transition degree with the intent to continue on to Columbus and finish up your bachelor's degree. And 1 is our Associate of Applied Science major, the business management. But again, here you can specialize in either agricultural business or general business. So now we'll get into a little bit more detail about, well, what will you be learning? What will you be doing during your time at ATI? So while you're at ATI, you will have a mix of courses that you'll take. So you'll have some general education coursework, and you'll have your business courses, your foundation there. Some of you will complete an internship while you're at ATI. And then some of you may be interested in taking some additional coursework while you're at ATI just to get the additional information, or maybe if you're continuing on to Columbus, you might be able to pick up a couple classes that you could apply to your minor in Columbus there. But generally speaking, your 2 years at ATI, or 2 to 3 years is usually how long students spend at ATI. It'll be a mix of general education and your major courses. So in this case, your business courses. And those will be mixed together throughout that time. So it's not like you have to take all of your general education coursework first or anything like that. It'll be a mix of those courses during your time at ATI. So we'll talk a little bit more about those courses. Okay. So the general education coursework, what can you expect there? So first off, you have an orientation course, and this is just a general overview of what college life is like, what you should expect as a college student, kind of navigating the Ohio State system and those kinds of things. So that's one part of your orientation. And then you have an orientation to your major as well. And so there we talk about things like what kind of careers would be available to you. So maybe you want to be a loan officer at Farm Credit, or maybe you're more interested in sales, or maybe you're more interested in management. So we look at those different career opportunities that are available for our students. And then we think about, well, how do we prepare for those careers? So that's our long-term goal, is to get that particular type of career. What can we do now to prepare for it? So what should we be doing while we're in school? What classes should we take? And we look at what classes are required for the major, and map out a plan on how to take those courses and so forth, or when to take them. We think about, well, should we put together in a resume? How to put together a good resume and so forth. And we speak to different people within the industry. So we invite hiring managers in to talk with the students and see their perspective, to share their perspective on what they're looking for in an incoming employee. We invite the Ohio Agribusiness Association president in to speak with the students, and he shares information about, what's going on in Ohio agriculture right now. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? And so forth. So it's really, those orientation courses are really designed to just get you started on a good solid ground and get you off to a good start as you start your career at ATI. Other general education courses that you'll take include your communication courses. So you'll take writing courses. So everyone in the business program, regardless of which major you choose, will have 2 writing courses that would be required. So there's this first level English, and then there's a second writing course that you take as well. And that second writing course would vary depending on which major you're in. Now, I should mention that your English is based off of placement. So you may have the potential that you might have to take an additional English course before you could get into those required courses. But all that placement would be done before you start at ATI, so we would know how to place you appropriately. We also have a speech class that would be required. And so here just working on those oral communication skills, and you're giving speeches about different topics that you might find in agriculture or might find in your future careers of things that you would need to do on the job and those kinds of things. So that's our communications area. Then we get into the math and sciences. So everyone would have a required math course to take, and which math class that is would vary again depending on your major. Math is also based on placement. So again, you would need to take a math placement test before you come and register for classes, but we would take care of that all ahead of time so we could place you appropriately, but just be aware there may be a class or 2 that you need to take prior to the required ones. So in the agribusiness transition degree, you're going to take college algebra for business. In our food business program, it's a college algebra class that's required. And then in our business management major, you would take an applied business math. So just various business courses depending on which major that you're in. Then in the sciences, everyone in the business majors takes an introductory chemistry course and an introductory biology course to kind of get that foundation of your sciences there. Our students in our business management program, the agricultural business specialization, do take a science of whatever area of agriculture that they're interested in. So a third science course. So a lot of our students either choose to take the soil science course or the introductory animal science course, kind of depending on which area of agriculture they're most interested in. So those would be the sciences that would be required for the degree. Other general education coursework, we have economics course. So all of our business majors take an economics course. So the microeconomics looks at kind of basically how businesses and individuals make decisions about how they spend their resources and use those resources and allocate those. So we have economics that would be required. We also have other courses such as rural sociology, so looking at how groups of people interact and focusing on rural groups of people. We have our humanities courses, such as a world music class, world religions course, a history course, literature. Those kind of courses fall under the humanities area. And again, depending on which major you're in, there's a kind of a different variation of which ones are required and so forth, depending on the major, but everyone's going to have at least a social science course that would be required. Our business management students also take a introductory computer course. It's basically looking at Microsoft Office and getting more comfortable with all the different features and programs within the Office suite. So those are your general education coursework. And again, I realize sometimes students aren't always super excited about taking the general education coursework, but they are extremely important. They set that foundation. Employers tell us all the time that they want students that are well-rounded, have a basic understanding of the basic sciences, have a good math skills, an understanding of the world around them, can communicate well with others, work well with others. So these are an important part of your curriculum and of your major. So that's your general education courses. Now we'll get into the business courses. So in our business courses, we really focus on giving you these core business skills. that we have. And what those classes include, or kind of what they're built around, is what we call the business model canvas. And so with that, that's kind of what we use as our foundation of the business model canvas there. And I'd like to share a short video with you to kind of highlight that. Oh, sorry, it's not wanting to cooperate. All right, sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Okay, so those building blocks, so those 9 building blocks, that's kind of what we want to think about while we're putting together our businesses and thinking about our business curriculum. We built that around those 9 building blocks, and so you get that information through the different courses that we have. So the courses that we have to build on that, so you can have a good understanding of business and how it operates and what you need to think about. First off, listed here is our accounting course. So this is the same accounting course that you would take if you were going to go straight down to Columbus as an agribusiness applied economics major. So in this accounting course, we look at, okay, well, what are these business transactions and how do we record them and do all of that so that way we can create our financial statements. But then at the end of the semester, we say, okay, now that we have all this accounting data and we have these financial statements, what are they telling us? So we do some ratio analysis and look at some of the trends that are happening and so forth. So we can take that information and say, oh, this is what it's telling us, and use that information to make better management decisions. And we also, as part of our accounting course, use QuickBooks, which is a very popular accounting software, especially for small businesses. But you don't necessarily have to have an accounting background and to use QuickBooks. But if you understand the basics of accounting, it makes that tool that much more powerful. So QuickBooks, it saves you a lot of time as far as when you have to, enter the information into your books and keep your records and so forth. And then you can focus your time on saying, okay, what is this data telling us? And how can we use it to better manage our company? Um, a lot of times ATI is described as hands-on learning, which I think in other areas is easy to picture. You're going to go out and work with the animals or go into the field and, look at the soil and, plant the crops and so forth. In the business area, sometimes I think that's hard for students to picture. So I like to call it applied learning, because we'll be learning like the theory and kind of the why we do certain things in the classroom, but then we have a chance to put those into play, put them into application. So learning the software, the QuickBooks software, or putting together a business plan to see how is this business actually going to work and is it feasible, or having an opportunity to practice some of these skills, whether it be doing sales presentations or just communicating and putting together marketing ideas and strategies and so forth. So we put what we're learning in the classroom into application in the different projects and things that we do. So we have the accounting course. We also have our finance course, which again is looking at the numbers, but saying, okay, what is this telling us? And some of the different topics we talk about in finance are, the idea of risk and reward, the time value of money. $100 today is not the same thing as $100 5 years from now. Some different tools, capital budgeting tools and techniques that we can use to help us make decisions. So if we have some money and we're trying to decide, okay, should I put it toward, I don't know, um, planting an orchard, or should I have a vineyard? What should I do with this? So we project out, well, what is the cash flow going to look like for the next 10 years for having this orchard, and what's going to look like for the next 10 years if I decide to go the vineyard route, looking at the cash coming in and out, and bringing it all back to today's dollars, and see which one's going to net us a higher net present value, and then use that information to make decisions on what we should do. We talk about interest rates, different types of loans. Those are some of the things that we talk about in finance. Then the other courses in our core business foundation there, we have our marketing course. So here we're looking at business marketing and thinking about, the product itself. How do we price it? How do we distribute it? How do we promote it? Thinking about who the people are that we're trying to reach, our target market, our customers, and all those different aspects there. So as part of that class, we put together a marketing plan focusing on those marketing aspects, or you might do a case study around a company and its marketing plan and its marketing strategy. We also have our personal selling class, so looking a little bit more at that sales portion of kind of marketing there. And again, with sales, it's a lot about, building those relationships with your customers, communicating with your customers. So during our sales class, you're not just going to sit there and listen to someone say, oh, this is what you should do, but you'll have an opportunity to practice it as well. So you'll get an opportunity to do different little maybe improv scenarios that you maybe have to say, okay, this is the situation, what would you do? Or, putting together a more formal sales presentation that you would present at the end of the semester. But again, really an opportunity to practice those skills and apply that knowledge that you're learning in the class. We also have our human resource management course. So in the human resource management course, we're looking at the employee side of things. So really focusing on those employees from, first thinking about, okay, what kind of jobs do we have available? So that way when we put together that job description, we are attracting the type of person that we're looking for. What kind of skills, knowledge do they need to fill that job and do it well? And then once you get that applicant pool, how do you screen them? How do you interview? What are those different hiring practices that you have? Make that selection. Once you get them there, how do you train them? How do you motivate them? How do you compensate them? How do you evaluate them? All those different things that go along with having employees. Some of the do's and don'ts, talk about the laws um, that go along with having employees and so forth. So that's our human resource management class. Um, we also have our small business management course, and this is kind of putting it all together. So in that small business management course, we say, okay, we take more of an entrepreneurial approach. What if you want to start your own business, or maybe you want to manage a small business? Because we have a lot of students that come to ATI with those goals of starting their own company. So what does that all take? What are those aspects of management that we need to be aware of? And if we're going to be specifically looking at a small business, what are some of those things that maybe a small business has to think about a little bit more than maybe a larger corporation does. So looking at all those different aspects and putting together a business plan, and thinking about, okay, what is it going to take as far as, what kind of employees do I need? How much money is it going to take? Where am I going to be located? What is am I offering? And those kinds of things. So you would do that. And so if you decided that you wanted to own your own business one day, you would have all that knowledge to put together a business plan and go to your local bank and say, hey, look, I've put together this plan. I've thought this through. I can show that, yes, it's going to be profitable. And so you could, get that loan and start your business. So those are really kind of those 6 foundational courses that we have in our business program. Then depending on your major, you would take some additional coursework. So our agribusiness students in our transition degree, they also have a supply chain management course that they take. And then they also have a choice of an elective. So that can be a business course like project management, for example, or another course that would be required within their bachelor's degree. So they can take one of those. There's a small list to choose from for that elective course. Our business management majors, again, depending on which specialization that you're in, you would choose courses there for that elective. And then you also take some additional coursework like business law and to kind of get the foundation of the laws that affect businesses. You also have another computer class that you would take looking at Excel and Access and how we can use those programs further to help us kind of solve some of this business problems that we might come across and use data to help us make decisions and so forth. But again, all of these courses together, we're really thinking about, okay, how do we, manage that business and what are all those different aspects of that company? So those are our business courses that would be required. All right, so you might are sitting there and say, oh, this all sounds great. Those foundations of business, I want to own my own business. I need to be able to manage it. That sounds wonderful, but I'm also interested in another program and I want to get all that knowledge too. So what the possible solution there could be would be a dual major. So with a dual major, it typically would add about a year to your time at ATI. So most students complete an associate's degree in 2 to 3 years. So if you're going to do a dual major, it would add probably about another year to your time here. Your general education coursework for the most part is going to count for both majors. Depending on the majors, again, you want to make sure that you're talking with your academic advisor for both majors because there might be some differences like in the math or the sciences that are required, for example. So if you're interested in animal science, for example, you're probably going to have to take the biology for science majors, whereas in agribusiness, you just need the introductory biology for non-science majors. But those two, are a little bit different. So the biology for science majors goes a little more depth in certain things. So if that's what you would need for the animal science, we could substitute that for the agribusiness. So you would just want to make sure you had those conversations with your advisor to make sure you're in the appropriate courses. If an internship is required for both majors, you might have to do a second internship to meet the requirements of both majors. Sometimes students can find an internship that would maybe be a little bit longer and combined both of their majors and the areas there. And so you can potentially maybe modify an internship to meet the requirements of both. Um, but that is just an option, so that way you're aware. As far as internship goes, the students in the business management program, our Associate of Applied Science, are required to complete an internship in order to get their degree. The students in the transition degree, the agribusiness or food business, do not need to complete an internship to get the associate's degree, but you would need to complete one to get your bachelor's degree. So sometimes students do that internship with us that summer between transitioning from ATI to Columbus, but you don't have to. You can wait till you get to Columbus and complete your internship then. But if you're in the business management, the Associate of Applied Science program, you would need to complete an internship. And really what the internship is there for is to get you to see more about the different options that are available to you as far as the career goes. So you would have a full-time position for the summer. Typically, you can complete it other semesters too, but most students choose to complete it over the summer. So you would complete at least 450 work hours, and we want those to get you a wide variety of experiences. So we want you to see all the different aspects of that company so you can learn more about what your different options are and get a real idea of kind of what all goes into managing a company. You do sign up for 3 credit hours of coursework. We don't actually, come to the classroom or anything like that, but you do sign up for course credit and pay tuition and so forth. And during the semester, you would interact with me and send in different reports about what you've been doing and how the internship has been going and so forth. And then I would visit with you either in person or virtually through Zoom or something like that and just see what you've been doing and how things have been going and so forth, and learn more about your day-to-day activities and speak with your supervisor if they're available and so forth. And like I said before, you send in different reports and that's the bulk of where you get your grade is from those reports and what you submit that way. You do write up a final report that gives an overview of the industry that you interned with, gives an overview of the company that you interned with, and then a reflection of what you learned and so forth from completing that internship. So again, the internship is required for those students in business management, which is our Associate of Applied Science degree. All right, so hopefully all this sounds wonderful as far as what you'd be learning and about and those kinds of things. And now as far as after you leave ATI, kind of what have we seen as far as starting salaries go? So these are some averages. So typically that associate's degree, we see those students starting in that upper 20s to mid 30,000 range there. But again, it varies widely depending on what's happening in the economy, where they're going and those kinds of things. Typically if the students are willing to relocate, there might be more opportunities with higher starting salaries and so forth. A bachelor's degree, again, typically increases that starting average salary. And so we usually see those in like the 40,000 range or so forth with an with a bachelor's degree. So again, these are just some averages here, but there is wide variation depending on where you want to go and the timing and all those kinds of things. All right, so just to kind of wrap up here, again, we have those 2 different degree types. So our Associate of Applied Science degree, you're going to get those technical skills, those entry-level management skills to get that job and be successful. You do have also that practical experience as far as the internship is required. Just be aware that if you decide to continue on for your bachelor's degree, some of your courses may not be equivalent to what would be required for your bachelor's degree, so you may need to repeat some coursework, like take math, for example. In the Associate of Applied Science or Business Management, you take an applied business math, which is not equivalent to the college algebra, which would be required for your bachelor's degree. So you have to take that again. So just be aware of that. You can continue on if you want to for the bachelor's degree, but it's not designed that way. So some of the courses may not count toward the bachelor's degree. Now, our transition degree is designed for that seamless transition to the Columbus campus. So our Associate of Science degree, again, that's our transition degree. That would be Agribusiness and Food Business Management. It's designed to continue on to Columbus to finish up the bachelor's degrees in those respective majors, but again, it's not required. You would still get your Associate of Science degree, and you could still take that and get a job and be successful. So again, that's just kind of a quick overview there of the different degree types. All right, so if you have questions, if you want more information, if you'd like to meet with me, again, I'd be happy to do any of those things. So please don't hesitate to contact me. My contact information is on the screen there. You can send me an email or you can call me if you like. But I hope you learned a little bit more about our business majors and our program. And if you have any questions, please get a hold of me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.